Hey y'all, Rob the guitar teacher here, and I'm excited about what we're going to go over today. We're going to be talking about the song When I Come Around by the iconic pop punk band Green Day, who actually got their start back in the Bay Area of California back in 1986 when Billy Joe Armstrong was only 14 years old. And Green Day has really come a long way. They started out in the Bay Area scene back in the 80s with contemporaries like Operation Ivy, who later went on to form Rancid. And they really came a long way because they became one of the first punk bands to emerge as a commercial success on the radio at the time in the 90s when pop punk was getting a lot of radio play, and there was a big surge in the success of contemporaries of Green Day like NoFX, The Offspring, Bad Religion, and more. So a quick little fun fact about the album name Dookie. Originally, the band wanted to call it Liquid Dookie, but actually the record label thought that that was too gross, even by punk rock standards, so they changed the name to Dookie. So, as you can see, commercial success did require some degree of compromise, even for punk rockers. But by today's standards, is Liquid Dookie really something that would be so off-putting? Well, maybe. So let's check out a little snippet of the music video from When I Come Around, which was off the album Dookie, which was super commercially successful. I think if you're a 90s kid like I was, there's a place in your heart for this. Or maybe if you were a 2000s kid, you know, you got their second most popular album, American Idiot, kind of repopularized them. So, you know, there's a big nostalgia there, lots of radio play of this stuff. Let's check it out. Okay, so that was pretty awesome. Now, due to copyright and stuff, I can't play a bigger clip than that, but we're going to go ahead and just play the riff that we're talking about here. Now, to play this one, we actually have to tune to E-flat standard. So your sixth string, rather than being tuned as an E, will be an E-flat. And same with all the others. We'll have an A-flat, D-flat, G-flat, B-flat, and E-flat. Everything a half step lower. Now, when we play this, we've got power chords. We're going to go over that in just a minute here. But let me just play the riff for you here. So we'll go over that in quite a lot more detail momentarily. All right, folks, so let's just go over really quickly, what is a power chord and why do we play them? And why are they punk rock? Well, you have to think about the origins of punk rock. These are like, you know, underprivileged kids that didn't necessarily have access to a music education or high school guitar classes like you might have today. So these are guys who really wanted to be rock musicians but were widely self-taught. Maybe they were a little angry. Maybe they were a little bit disgruntled with society. Now, when you learn music the formal way, major and minor chords, there's a little difference between them. And those chords have three parts, a root, third, and a fifth. And it's the third of that chord that makes each one different. Like there's a difference between major and minor. We're going to go over that in a lot more detail in an upcoming music theory video where we'll go into more detail also about how this progression in the song works. But for now, just on a basic level, what a power chord is that we reduce a major or minor chord down from 3 notes into just 2 notes, a root and a fifth. And the good news is that on guitar, for most of what we play, we're going to be playing that same exact shape every single time. So you can see in my diagram here, we've got a full voicing of a G major bar chord. Now we've reduced that down into a power chord that you can just play with finger 1 on the root and finger 3 on the fifth of that chord. You can see that both the major G and the G power chord have that root and fifth in common. But all we've done is we've reduced it down. So we definitely want to be able to get those in our fingers to be able to play punk rock. And even a lot of rock music uses power chords most of the time. Same thing with metal. So what's also really important is to count this correctly so that we have the right rhythm going for the song. That's what's really going to make this song recognizable, is that specific rhythm that they use. We also need the palm mute. If you're not sure how to palm mute, there's more than one way of palm muting on guitar, but what we're going for here is that we still want to hear the notes come through, but we want to make them more percussive and just cut off a little bit earlier. Check out my video on Barracuda where I go into more detail onto how to palm mute with your right hand, because that's going to give you the kind of tone you need for this. So as you can see in the chart over here, you know, when you're in 4/4 time, you've got 4 beats. Those are the things that we count as numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4. But to really count more intricate rhythms, we have to subdivide our beats. So subdividing means breaking those beats down into smaller even divisions. So if we break down a quarter note into 4, we call that a 16th note, and the way we count it is 1, E, and A. Now this specific riff, you can see at the bottom, what we've done is we need to count all of those, but what I've done is I've highlighted the ones that we actually play versus the ones that we just count, we don't play. So if you had a metronome going ticking evenly, you could try to clap this at first, or you could try to just strum this and not worry about the chords and just try to count and play at the right spots. But we're going to make it a little trickier because the strum direction also matters. So the rhythm here, it's actually a pickup. So it starts on the and of beat 4, and we want to do a down up for that. Then in the measure, we have a 1 and 2 and a. So that's going to be a down, 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 up. So pretty much what we have. So if you haven't already mastered your power chords, I would encourage you to go ahead and try moving power chords up and down the neck, and feel free to experiment with them. See if you can come up with something that you like the sound of. Exploring your instrument is one of the best ways to get better, especially in the early stages, but also make sure you're practicing the chord progression we have in our actual song, right? So just so y'all know, I did write a book called From Guitar Zero to Guitar Hero, which integrates music theory along with how to incorporate that into your actual guitar playing. And you can see in the link in the description, we now have a digital version of that available at a discounted price. And you can even purchase just the chapter of the book where we talk about this specific song, just to supplement what we went over in the video today. As always, please like and subscribe. I'm a small YouTuber, and that really helps me continue to make videos. And thanks so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one.